This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic!
What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is July 24th, 2025. Jonathan Osborne here, as always, joined by my co-host, Kevin Tucker. Kevin Tucker, I don't know why I just said Osborne like that, but what's going on?
Well, I think I know. It's because, the Osborne name is heavy on your heart this week because your long-lost relative, Ozzy. Just kidding. Different spelling, right? He only does
different spelling, yes. Although I've been asked my entire life if I was related to Ozzy Osbourne, and I am not.
Yeah.
But yeah, R.I.P.
Not related, but still obviously well-known figure. But speaking of well-known figures, we have one joining the show later, Mr. Luke Sylvia, long-time member of the show.
On Luke Sylvia. People will be disappointed to hear that, but his shirt, I believe, will be on. Maybe it won't be. He could always throw us a curveball, but I would assume, the Magic are not in the midst of a 5-game win streak. Quite the opposite, actually.
In fact,
they lost the last 5 games
Summer
in a row.
League.
So maybe he's wearing 2 shirts today in protest.
Could be. We'll have to find out.
What's going on there.
It'll be a fun surprise. But be fun to
get to
hang out with
checking
him.
in with old Luke.
Yeah, always good to hang out with him, and still a dear friend to both of us. We still text frequently, but it'll be fun to have him on the show about 1 year after he departed as well, which is kind of cool. But that'll be fun.
Has he not been on since then? We didn't have him.
He has twice. He filled in for you a couple times.
I was gonna say.
But not with the three of us. The three of us have not been on together, so that'll be fun.
Nice old-fashioned 6-man show 3-way. So,
all right, let's get into some Magic news.
All right. Well, this isn't happening just yet, but it's exciting because Tristan da Silva it's been announced that Tristan da Silva is officially part of Team Germany coming up for their FIBA Eurobasket run here. That's getting it ready to kick off in a couple weeks. For me, it just never made sense that he wouldn't be on the team, but we never really got an indication that he would be. In fact, quite the opposite. It didn't seem like he was going to be. And now that he is, just really excited for that. I think it's a great opportunity for him. And I think it's great for the team. Especially with Mo Wagner being out, I think Germany needs some more talent on that roster. So he'll join NBA players like Franz Wagner, Dennis Schroeder. I think Tristan da Silva is the only other NBA player on that team, right? Because no Hartenstein, no Kleba, no Mo Wagner, obviously. But we have, if you've been following the German national team for the last several off seasons, like Andreas Opt, Johannes Thiemann, Johannes Voigtmann, Maudo Low, still a really, really talented squad. If you've never watched Team Germany, really, in my opinion, one of the more fun international teams to watch in these competitions. I am fired up. Do we know if Daniel Tice
I was about to say
going to be playing?
He is on the roster. He's just not on an NBA roster anymore.
Right.
So he doesn't count towards the NBA numbers, but it is a name obviously a lot of NBA fans will recognize. But that'll be fun. Something new for Tristan. What's going to be interesting is, if you've been watching or listening to the show for a long time, we've talked about the German national team for several summers now, and the common theme is that it's a very team-oriented brand of basketball, and a lot of that comes from the fact that a lot of these guys have played together for many, many, many years, which is the case across a lot of international basketball. Very different than what Team USA looks like, but a lot of these national teams have played together for many, many years. So what's going to be interesting with Tristan is that's not exactly the case with him right now. Most recently he was considered for the Brazilian national team. And so obviously he's grown up with some of these guys, but I don't know if he really had the chance to play with a lot of them regularly. So that'll be interesting to see if that factors into playing time. Obviously things are a little bit different there in Germany. Totally brand new coach. I don't know what that's going to mean for the system and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of question marks with Tristan and this roster, but we get those answered pretty quickly. I think we said August 10th, it looks like, is their first game of the summer. So, just over a couple weeks away. So that'll be fun to see. But congrats to Tristan and excited to see him with Team Germany this summer.
Which Tristan joining the team makes it 2 sets of brothers on the German national team.
Right.
Obviously, Mo Wagner isn't going to be playing, but Tristan is joining his brother Oscar da Silva, who's played for Germany in the last few summers. So, just really exciting, really fun to watch those guys play. At one point, Kev, are you going to get like your Deutschland kit, like your Franz Wagner German jersey to wear during these? Because I'm going to be busting mine out.
I might have to get one. I don't currently own one, but I'm sure they're very cheap on, maybe unreputable websites out there that maybe they could be acquired.
It's definitely reputable. I don't know how legitimate.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a better way to refer to it. But yeah, I probably do need to do that at some point. Get one of him, maybe one of Tristan, maybe one of Mo. I don't know, but I do rock with the German national team for sure.
So definitely looking forward to that. And the Magic made a couple of changes with their two-way spots. So we were thinking, okay, the Magic have Ethan Thompson on a two-way spot. Are they going to sign someone else? And then they did, and then almost immediately waived Ethan Thompson. So center Orlando Robinson has been signed to a two-way contract to the Magic, and Ethan Thompson was waived. Are you surprised by the waiving of Ethan Thompson?
I mean, maybe a little bit. He was brought on. I mean, it feels like it was probably over halfway through last season, right? He wasn't there at the beginning,
part of the later part of the year. Yeah,
yeah. So to me, that didn't feel like a super long opportunity to prove it. Now, obviously, I know he had Summer League and maybe wasn't the best at Summer League this year, but it surprised me a little bit. I assumed he was just going to be around this season. The Orlando Robinson thing is interesting. I mean, first off, is he the first Orlando to play for Orlando? Is that anything? I don't know.
I don't recall another one.
And if I was him, I would be petitioning to the league, hey, can you let me put my first name on the back of the jersey while I'm in Orlando? Because that'd be cool. He's also, by the way, it was already announced he's got number 7. So number 7, which is interesting. A lot of notable Magic players have worn number 7. But yeah, it would be cool to have okay, thank you. Yeah, from the last episode. Yeah, very notable. Yeah. It'd be really cool to have Orlando on the back of his jersey. I think that'd be really cool. But whatever. No, I think that. Yeah, the waiving was surprising, but I'm excited to see Orlando Robinson. He's got some NBA experience, and I think he'll be good as a two-way guy. And also good, again, who knows what the beginning of the year is going to look like with Mo. We might need all the bodies we can get to help backfill whatever availability he may or may not have. So yeah, I'm on board with the Orlando Robinson move.
Yeah, Orlando Robinson so far in 3 seasons. So he spent some time with the Miami you-know-what, unfortunately, the Sacramento Kings and the Toronto Raptors last year. So for his career, averages 4.7 points per game, 3.9 rebounds. But last year in 35 appearances with Toronto, 8.1 points per game, 5.9 rebounds. So, maybe finding his way in the league a little bit here. Born in 2000, played at Fresno State, 7-foot center. So like you were mentioning, a little bit of backup help should Mo Wagner not be ready to go at the start of the year. And no offense to Orlando Robinson, but we're hoping that he doesn't really play as we did, last year with Trevelyan Queen and Mac McClung and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, it's interesting that they decided to waive Ethan Thompson to make this happen. I do kind of wonder if they have their eyes on someone else. Maybe they try to bring in someone for another two-way, maybe 2 more two-ways. But last year, they kept that third two-way spot, open for most of the year. So, but yeah, Orlando Robinson in and Ethan Thompson is out.
Yep. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with what's left, I mean, last year we left that two-way spot open for so long.
Right.
And then, again, I don't remember what date we signed Ethan Thompson, but it had to have been the last third, certainly at least the last half of the season. But yeah, I'm curious if they'll leave that spot open for flexibility again. But yeah, either way, it'll be very, very interesting.
Yeah. Did you get anything from the YouTube comments on our last episode? Like it does seem like there's a contingent of Evan Fournier haters out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, there are a contingent of Evan Fournier haters. There are also some Kevin Tucker haters out there now, and I knew I was putting my head on the chopping block I'm not going to repeat it out loud. If you missed it, you can go watch it. I said it. I prefaced it with it. I knew it was a very, very touchy subject, and I didn't feel good saying it, but I felt like it had to be said, and so I said it, and I stand by it. But I did enjoy getting to hear people's different reactions to some of that. And yeah, you're right. There's pretty good Evan Fournier hate out there, and our streak now is at two consecutive episodes where Jonathan has found a way to mention Evan Fournier. It's always fun to see how long these streaks go.
Yeah, and then the other was like our omission of Daryl as like, love/average loved. And our lists weren't meant to be like, oh no, these are like the definitive ones. It was just like, hey, these are some of the ones that we thought of. But yeah, he absolutely would be.
I also wasn't sure if we were going to mention Daryl Armstrong because he's kind of in some hot water right now,
a little bit
legally and stuff like that. But I mean, it is what it is. But yes, obviously Daryl Armstrong for his Orlando playing days. Very beloved, and a good player as well.
Very much so. You might have missed it, but on our last episode, we also announced the fact that Ben Gifford, our dear friend who has been hosting the Six Fan Show for us for the last couple of years, which, if you're not familiar with that, 10 to 12 times a year during the regular season, and then for most playoff games, we host what we call the Sixth Fan Show, where we give you all, the folks that have given us this platform, we kind of try to share the platform with you all so that you can give your takes and let your takes be heard. So Ben has hosted that for us the last couple of seasons. He is now stepping away from that this summer. So we're looking to bring someone on to do that. So we put out a link to a Google form underneath the description of our last YouTube video and podcast episode. We'll do the same for this one. We've also posted that across our social media pages. So if you're interested at all and you're local to the Orlando area, go ahead and fill that out. We do have like a little, we want you to film kind of like a video submission, kind of like auditioning for the part, I guess. So if that interests you at all, you can find that link either on our social media pages or in the YouTube and podcast descriptions here. We're still looking for somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I realized after we talked about it, we have a lot of people that just listen to the show. And so maybe you don't follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube. You may have never seen the Six Fan Shows. If you're like, what the heck is that about? It's only on YouTube. It's not something we upload, to audio platforms, mainly because it would not be necessarily the best audio. Half the fun is watching Magic fans either go crazy or be upset. But yeah, check it out on YouTube. The Six Fan Show, like you said, we've done it for 2 years now. Looking forward to season 3. But yeah, we just need someone to host it. So we're definitely open to submissions, and follow the link in the description, and we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, and now the moment that you all have been waiting for. Let's bring in Luke Sylvia.
Boo.
And now, Orlando Magic fans, we are joined by a very special guest, the prodigal son himself, Luke Sylvia. What is going on, my guy?
What's going on? We'll see if I know how to do this. I think I can talk into this microphone, and it's good to be back. I was surprised I got an invite back. I'm just glad to be here. So Kevin told me it's been a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, do we know how
Since
close
you and I were on a pod together? Yes.
True, because Kevin and I were on
a couple times. I think it was 2 times. Yeah.
Was it 2?
But yeah, I think I looked up your last show last year was July 18th is the date that's in my head. And that's why when we looked at the calendar, we're figuring out, guests for the coming few weeks. I was like, let's get Luke on as the 1 year. And so since it's been a year, Luke, obviously you and I did a couple shows together, but you're a guest here. But since it's been a year now, why don't you just take everyone through the last, 365 days or so, like each and every day, what you've been up to, over the course
yeah, so
of
it's
last year.
7:12 in the morning. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Everything kind of happened at the same time, right? So I start working in the new job that I now have been at for over a year, which is crazy, at my dad's church. Stepped away from the Six Man Show a couple months after that, pretty much. And then since then, man, it's still been chaotic, my life. I thought stepping away from the show would lessen the chaos in my life. And it has for sure, but not really as much as I thought. I decided, man, I miss recording twice a week. So instead I'm going to start editing short form videos wherever I can. And I got in with our boys over there at Numbers on the Board. It's probably as you know them, maybe.
Shout out.
But they're under the Enjoy Basketball brand. And so I've been doing a lot of short form content with them. Shout out to Wag Talk, which I've been doing a lot of and having a lot of fun doing, and it gets great reception. And so, yeah, my nights are still busy. That's kind of just what I do probably every other night, because I'm editing those. And then the other times I'm, after bedtime hanging out with Lauren, all that kind of stuff. So
playing a little rematch
on Xbox. So, if you play, drop your name in the comments. I'm always looking for consistent guys. But yeah, man, life has been good. It was what was weird was not having to talk about every Magic game this past season, like I did for the whatever it was 3-4 seasons prior. So instead of 82 regular season games, I watched like 67. So still a healthy amount. But I could think and watch as a fan, and not so much analytically about what's happening this lineup. I still on opening night tracked all the rotations like a sicko, and who checked in for who, when, and kind of looked at that throughout the year, just because you can only turn so much of that part of your brain off. But I mean, it's been good, but it makes these episodes a lot sweeter too, of being able to hop on. And after whatever it's been now, probably, I don't even know, 6 months, 7 months since I was on here with you guys, or at least with Kevin.
So obviously the team dynamic has changed a lot, and although listeners might know this or might not, we still text every single day, whether it be the three of us or in the chat that we have with kind of the rest of the team, and now we have like a lot of kind of like former employees in that chat. We've just kind of kept it going as people have moved on to bigger and better things, but so we know how you feel about a lot of this stuff, but I know a lot of listeners are looking forward to hearing your thoughts on, I mean, have you been on since before the deadline?
I was on before the deadline, but not after.
So yeah, let's get deadline thoughts. Let's get some playoff opinion. Let's get some off-season opinion. Like, how have you been feeling the last 5-6 months as a Magic fan?
Deadline. So I approached deadline saying to myself, if Weltman and Anthony Parker do not make a move, then I'll be all right with it. But I think I really shouldn't have been. Again, in retrospect, I shouldn't have been. And I know I shouldn't have been by how panicked I was that we wouldn't make a move this offseason. Like, those are just back-to-back windows of being able to make moves. And I was so panicked. Season ends, you get gentlemen swept, or not even gentlemen swept, you get gentlemen swept.
It was
game 5. It was 5 games by the Celtics. And all things considered, I mean, that series went how we thought. But the minute that game 5 is over, I'm thinking, I'm so terrified of what this front office won't do. It wasn't so much of what they will do, because pretty much obviously this is hyperbole, but like, there was nothing. As long as they made a move that was somewhat significant, they wouldn't hear much out of me. I was like, I just need them to do something. And so, yeah, I think I should have been more panicked at deadline when they didn't do anything. Just because it's like, okay, no, actually, we're close to the next window where you will be panicking if they don't do something. And so, yeah, because it was at the time, I was like, no, I trust them. And then you get to summer and it's like, oh, maybe I don't. I just need them to prove it. And so thankfully, right, they pretty much kick off the weird off season that it's been for the whole NBA with this Desmond Bane trade, which was insane. As you guys, like, as everybody has come to the conclusion, like, who cares about the picks? The Magic don't care about those picks. And like, why would we? And I'm going to let the front office crunch numbers and worry about numbers. And I'm just going to enjoy that we've got Desmond Bane. You go into free agency, you get Tyus Jones. There are pieces now added to this roster that will change the future of the Orlando Magic. And that's super exciting to me.
Another thing that happened this summer, definitely curious to get your take on this. I don't know if you heard, but before the Desmond Bane trade, the Orlando Magic got a new look, a new logo, new jerseys, new all kinds of fun stuff. Have you had a chance to take a look at some of that? And no, just kidding. I know you have, but tell the people how you feel about the new look, bro.
Yeah, I must have missed it. But the logo on your hat looks really good. Yeah. So
This old thing.
Yeah. So I loved it from the jump, and really I was more not more thinking, but like I quickly shifted to thinking about the jerseys, because when we rebranded, they released the graphic, which is an incredible graphic, by the way, of the 3 jerseys like kind of waving, right? And that's automatically what everybody's eyes are on, not just Orlando Magic world, but everywhere in the basketball world was looking at the Magic. Do we like the rebrand? Do we hate it? And so I think the logo was almost an afterthought for me. Like I was just so honed in on those jerseys because they were getting shoved down our throats. And then once I got a chance, calm down. And then I got a chance to look, like when you really start to look at the logo, it's incredible. And it doesn't take that long to look at that logo and get to that conclusion. So I love the rebrand entirely. I think the nod to the retro warm-ups, that jersey is incredible. I will say it will be even more incredible, as our good friend Tony Huynh has said. Give it a chance, see it in person, up close in person, on the court in real time, and you'll come around on it. So I'm really pumped about those. Obviously, the other 2 jerseys are just nobody can argue. Those are incredible. So it feels good. It feels good to have a competent roster. It feels good to have an awesome brand now, and one that we can all be proud of. And I think that's something you guys have echoed a lot on the show. But I mean, now before I felt like we were a little bit of a laughing stock or a lot of it in the last decade. And it was like we couldn't even be like, man, we have an awesome logo, because we'd be lying to ourselves. Now we have an awesome logo. So if things go downhill, at least we've got that.
All right, Jonathan, I got a riddle for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Why did the chicken cross New England Avenue in Winter Park?
I have no idea.
To get to 400 West New England Avenue, Suite 13 in Hannibal Square, and jump into the fryers at Jam Hot Chicken, of course. Jam Hot Chicken, they're proudly bringing Jam's culture and hot chicken to the heart of Winter Park. They're a Nashville and LA-inspired hot chicken shack, locally owned and operated by some die-hard Orlando Magic fans. We love Jam Hot Chicken, not just because the food is amazing, but again, because they're die-hard Magic fans who love this community. You can follow them on social media at Jam Hot Chicken, or visit their website, jamhotchickenfl.com, where you can access the menu, online ordering, and all things Jam Hot. Again, Jam Hot is the best, and they're diehard Orlando Magic fans, so you should go show them some support. And when you do, just let them know that the Six Man Show sent you.
This episode is also brought to you by Fritz Aventopoulos, Magic Player History, Richard Tuttle, and Nick from the Cloud. These are some of our Hall of Fame and elite tier patrons. They went over to patreon.com/the6manshow, where again, they joined either our elite or Hall of Fame tier. We have other tiers available as well, based off of what works best for you. For as little as $2 a month, you can help financially support the show and help us do everything that we do. Like I said, we have other tiers where you can get access to things like our Discord community, where we have close to 100 Magic fans that are talking Magic and NBA basketball and all things really year round. Really a great community. So we can't do anything that we do here without the support of our patrons. So if you like the show, you like kind of what we stand for and our mission, which is really just growing this Orlando Magic fan base, trying to set up like that next generation of diehard Magic fans. So if you want to get in on that and help us continue that mission, head over to patreon.com/the6manshow. We also shout out brand new patrons whenever we have them. So if you join today, we're going to give you a special shout out on our next episode. So again, thank you to all of our patrons. We appreciate the support. And now let's get back to the episode. What are you changing your son's name to now that his namesake has signed with the Bucks?
I've already signed the papers. His name's Desmond.
Desmond
like
Sylvia.
Yes. Yeah. They did.
Very
For those that don't know, Luke's a big Cole Anthony fan. He named his son after Cole. I'm just kidding.
The biggest. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. His son is named Cole, by the way, but not related to that.
I do miss the bit. The bit will be missed on this, at least by me. Yeah. Where I get to say,
still going.
Where I get to say Cole, I'm, either not Cole Anthony or Cole, not my son. Really, really fun. So yeah, Cole Anthony, that was weird. I texted you guys when when the video comes out from the Bucks, and I believe you talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
But
Kevin completely heartless.
Yeah. Kevin was like, man, I don't care. Goodbye. Which I get.
Bye.
I share the same sentiment.
Yeah,
I share the same sentiment. All of us do. All of us were of the thought of like Cole has kind of run his course. It's way too hot and cold. Great guy, great person, but it's just time for a change of scenery. I think it'll be awesome for him. The Bucks genuinely need him. So I'm happy to see what he does. If he tortures us and we win, I won't care. I'll be happy for him and for the Magic as long as they don't win. But it was weird in that video, him in those colors, just odd. Like you see a guy that your team drafted after that many years. It's hard for it not to feel a little bit odd, unless you're Kevin, who had no problem with it. But
it's fine.
But yeah, no, it was just something. It was just weird. And I think your comparison that you quoted, I believe somebody, Jonathan, about Cole Anthony and how it's kind of like seeing the girl that you broke up with another guy, and you're like, oh, that's still weird. And I absolutely, that's definitely.
No, you're supposed to be miserable and lonely for the rest of your life.
Oh my gosh,
that's exactly right. I only get to be happy.
Yeah.
But Luke, before we talk a little bit more like future vision, like what can this team look like? What can this team do? I want to go back to last season one more time, because last offseason, right before the season started, you provided Jonathan and I with some like little over-under stuff that we can throw into that episode and, go back and forth and kind of make our predictions and that kind of stuff. You, as we asked you to come on to this episode, said you would bring those back. I genuinely have no idea how we did. I don't remember my answers. You sent us the list of the over-under stuff, but I don't remember what I chose and what Jonathan chose. But I assume you have done the research to go back and find out what our record is and all that kind of stuff. So I would love, Luke, for the next few minutes for us to go through these stats and see, number one, how Jonathan and I both did, but also see how it kind of played out over the course of the Magic season.
Yes. So we'll start at the top, right? And I'll tell you guys at the end. You guys will be able to guess at that point. But at the end, I'll tell you guys what the final score was for this, okay? So I actually went back and looked at these at the All-Star break. So after I go through all of these, I can, if we want to tell you kind of what changed after the All-Star break, because there was some significant stuff that happened on these stats. So the first thing I gave you guys was Paolo points per game in the 24-25 season. I set the over-under at 25.5 points per game. Jonathan and Kevin, both of you, said that he would go under. He finished the season, as we all know, at 25.9 points per game. Here's what is notable. At the All-Star break, Paolo Banchero, obviously he'd not played that much, but at the All-Star break, he was averaging 22.5 points per game. And then he goes on to finish the season 25.9, so 3 points higher. As we know, he had multiple 40-point games at the end of the season, and that affected another category too that we had. So you guys both got that one incorrect. Franz Wagner was the next one. Points, rebounds, and assists, the total. I set the number at 30.5. Jonathan and Kevin both said over. Franz finishes the season at 34.6 PRA, meaning they both got it correct. So the next one, Jalen Suggs stocks. So that is steals and blocks. This one is my favorite because of how it ended up. So you guys were going through this because I listened back to this episode at the All-Star break to remember what you guys said. Jalen Suggs 2.4 is where I said it. Jonathan said under. And I believe, Kev, you started out saying under. And then you said,
I remember this now.
And then you said, well, I guess there's a universe. And you were just being very tongue in cheek. And you're like, there's a chance that he gets exactly 2.4 stocks. And you said, I'm going to just say it'll be a push, right? So Jalen Suggs didn't play that many games this year. However, he finished the season with 2.4 stocks.
Let's freaking go. No way.
That's wild.
Oh my gosh.
So Kev was right.
Respect.
Kev was right. Kevin.
I knew.
Cap.
I didn't guess. I knew.
Kevin and
course.
the casino of Luke Sylvia, the book of Luke Sylvia, were on. We're in agreement.
Let's go.
This one's depressing. Jonathan Isaac, minutes per game. I set it at 20.5. My thinking was, if he's not on a restriction anymore, he'll play over 20.5. Why wouldn't he?
Yep.
To which both of you said over. And as we know, Jonathan Isaac, 15.4 minutes per game. Both of you guys were wrong.
I said over. Wow.
Yes, you both said over. People can fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure. Kevin said over. Jonathan said over. And the crazy part is that at All-Star break, he was at 16.6 minutes per game. And he finishes the year a minute lower.
Wow.
Obviously, Paolo comes back and it has some, obviously, say on that. So, that was fun. Both of you guys wrong there. And then the next one. How many teams will finish ahead of the Magic in defensive rating? I set the over-under. It was a hard one. I wanted you guys to commit. I said 1.5 teams would finish ahead of the Magic in defensive rating. Kev said over 1.5 teams would finish over the Magic. And Jonathan said under 1.5. So Jonathan there betting the Magic would be the best defensive team in the league. And as we know to this point, the Magic finished, which didn't sound, I mean, it made sense, but it didn't sound right to me at first. So if this is somehow wrong, let me know. Magic finished 14th in defensive rating. Does that sound right?
No,
that doesn't sound right to me,
second,
right?
I believe.
Yeah. I think they
Okay.
were second.
So yeah, that's what I was like. I think I guess what I was doing. I was looking at the offensive rating for both. So yes, I'm knocking off the rust for myself here. So
second.
Yeah. So I put it at 1.5. Jonathan said under, saying the Magic would be the best. The Magic's finished second in defensive rating, meaning both are wrong. One closer.
Under. No, that means that's right, because 1.5 teams finished better. That means he said under. So one team did finish better.
Under.
You know?
You are right.
Yeah.
So Jonathan,
So
put it on the board for Jonathan.
Love that.
And Kev was incorrect.
yeah.
Let's see.
So we're tied now, basically, because we got the same, except for I got stocks and you've got the defensive rating. So that's what it looks like, at least in my brain, if I'm keeping score.
Yes,
Which I do sometimes.
Yeah,
I
sometimes.
think we were locked in the rest of the way so far.
All right, let's see.
the same.
All right. Then the next one. How many teams will finish ahead of the Magic in offensive rating? I said 17.5.
We were probably a little too optimistic here.
Kev and Jonathan both said over 17.5 teams would finish ahead of the Magic in offensive rating.
Yep.
So the Magic finished 14th.
27th.
Dude, what was I looking at?
You've been out of the game a little bit, my friend.
I was filtering offensive and defensive rating. But you said
Summer League stats, maybe? Is that what that is?
You
Maybe
might have
that's
been
true.
looking at playoff teams.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
14th out of 16 sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So what was the official number? 20 something?
27.
Yeah. So we were right.
27th.
You're right.
Both of you correct.
Yep.
Wow.
By a landslide.
Yeah.
That's
Not
tough.
close.
That's tough.
Maybe we do know ball.
Yeah, it's funny because as I was looking at that, I was like, there's no way that I don't remember that well, and there's no way, especially with us being last in the league.
If
at
the
3-point
Magic were
percentage.
14th in offensive rating, they would have finished the second seed in the East.
Yeah, exactly. So the next one is fun. It's a points, and how many points in a game. So Magic players to score 40 plus points in a game. I set the over under at 5.5. Jonathan optimistically said over. Kevin said under. And here's the fun part. There was only one time that a Magic player scored 40 plus in a game at the All-Star break. And that was Paolo with 50, obviously, against Indiana early in the season. Paolo ends up scoring 40 plus 4 times.
So had him and Franz not missed, 60s plus games,
It's safe to assume that over would
that
have,
definitely hits.
But
that would have
they
smashed.
didn't.
Correct.
So
No,
Kevin
Vegas does
wins.
not care.
Yeah, the Luke
The
book does
casino
not
of Luke
care.
Sylvia does not care.
Yeah, that's right.
So, so on that one, Jonathan wrong. Kevin is correct. But yeah, Paolo almost hits the over by himself in playing that many
Wild.
games, which is a boost of confidence to me as a Magic
That
fan.
is crazy.
Yeah.
These next two are painfully sad, by the way, Luke.
Yeah, they really are. The next one is, they're right there with the Jonathan Isaac minutes played, 20 and a half. The next one is Franz Wagner's 3-point percentage. I really thought that I was being fair. 33.5%. I had some hope, and Jonathan said over, and Kevin said under. And Franz finishes at 29.5%. Jonathan's wrong, Kevin's right. Yeah, just really rough all around. And you would be thinking maybe he did better in the playoffs. It was 18% in the playoffs, so it didn't get any better. We are hoping that in Deutschland he can improve and find his 3-point shot again.
But the good news is, Luke, going into this next one, he was the only Magic player that didn't shoot well from three, right? This past season? Is that right?
Yeah, so the next one, this is the last one. Magic players to shoot at least 37% from three with 100 threes minimum attempted total. I set it at 7.5 players. Now, sometimes the book is wrong. Sometimes the book is so wrong. This was because the year prior, I believe it was 8 or 9 Magic players shot that percentage or better on 100 plus threes, 37% or better. And both of you guys on this one for this past season said under, of which you both were. It was the one you guys didn't have to sweat.
Yeah.
So only one player shot at least 37% from three, and that was Caleb Houston. With 160 attempts. Now, so both of you guys were correct in this. What is interesting is at the All-Star break, when I checked this, is that the best percentage there was 0 at the All-Star break that hit this percentage. Tristan da Silva was the best with 33.2%. That were even tracking to meet the criteria. So Caleb Houston, was the only one showing out for that. And so for those keeping track at home, Kevin, maybe you've been keeping track along the way as well. Kevin did win. There was 9 of these props. I believe Kevin had 6 out of 9, and Jonathan had 4 out of 9. So there you have it. Other than butchering offensive defensive rating, that was a lot of fun.
I was thinking, did Gary Harris even meet the 103 attempt criteria? He took 101 threes.
Yikes. But season. He made what, 20?
36.
Yeah, whatever.
And what was it? 6 of those on opening night?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude.
1/6 of his threes was made the first game of the season. And I think he had 3 or 4 the last game of the season.
Crazy, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
we'll have to revisit that. Hopefully we have a healthier year that can give us, truer results, out of some of that stuff. But always fun doing stuff like that. Luke, so where are we now in terms of your expectations for the Magic heading into this next season? Have you gone completely delusional? Are you trying to hold on to your sense of reality? Where are you?
I try to be somewhat realistic, and sometimes I'm so realistic that I'm pessimistic. I'm not saying that I think we're going to make the finals, because listen, the Indiana Pacers do it, playing incredible basketball, catching a lot of breaks. I just am not optimistic that we're going to get 2 back-to-back teams in the finals that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense how they were better than XYZ team. But what the Magic have going for them is that, Tatum's out, Halliburton's out. And I mean, you've only got a couple teams to worry about. I know that having additions to a team can make a team confident. I'm still scared of the New York Knicks. I'm scared of them in a playoff series really because I'm worried about home court. I don't know how that gets, I know that teams have done cutting off people that don't live in a certain area. But the issue with New York is that they just are all New York Knicks fans in Orlando.
Yep.
You can't tell them that they can't be there because they do live in whatever proximity circle you're going to put, whatever radius. Chances are they still meet the criteria and they can still take over the arena. So if that even looks like it could come to fruition this year, which I'm hoping that we're both good enough that we just won't run into each other at least in the first, second round. I don't want to see them solely because of that. And they're a great team, but I don't want to see them until the ECF. But what's your
I wouldn't say great. They're good. They're very good. They're not great.
They're not great.
They're not great.
Okay.
I mean,
they couldn't beat that Pacers team. Does anybody here believe that Pacers team was a great team?
Well,
no, it's just things aligned, and they were great. Right. I mean, they played good ball.
I think they're great. I think they caught fire, and they were built for that.
They were an incredibly put together team.
Yep. They got hot. They absolutely. But second half of the season had a great end to the year, had a great run. But like, does anybody think if Celtics are completely healthy in that series that they make it, that the Knicks make it through that? Like, then the Pacers play them. I don't think so.
I don't know. I also think the Knicks got better. That's the other part of this. The Knicks got better this summer, I think, but as well.
Yeah, but here's the thing too: is like Indiana is such an anomaly that I'm just concerned about the team that's got knocked out in the first round 2 years in a row. Can we all of a sudden make the NBA Finals and be the anomaly just like the Pacers? I don't know. There's a lot of context needed there.
Well, I definitely think it's still a long shot that we make a run like that, but like I do think if the Magic, can rattle off like 50 wins, something like that, I think there can be enough energy around the city to where like people aren't selling their playoff tickets to, the secondary market to try to make money if it's the Celtics or if it's the Knicks or whatever. Like, you're always going to have a little bit of that, but if the Magic are a 50+ win team, I don't think that's as big of a factor as what we've experienced in our adult lives.
Yeah,
I mean, it definitely could be, but
we'll see how the season goes because obviously expectations can definitely shift. There's a world where the Magic are a top 2 seed in the East, and in that world, I would say, okay, you better make at least the ECF. As it stands right now, I just have to see it. People say it, and I don't think it's similar really at all, but people make the joke of like, well, we thought KCP was going to be great, but he had to shoot the basketball and put it in the hoop, which is true with Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones, but I just have more confidence in that, and maybe that's delusional because I had confidence in KCP too. But I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But the one thing I will say, I have very dear friends of mine who are New York Knicks fans, and I was kind of vicariously living through them in this playoff run, and I'll admit there were points where I was a little kind of pulling for the Knicks in certain series and situations. I think it's a likable team, and so anyway, I say all that to say find myself kind of a little bit of a fan of them in the playoffs, and they beat Boston, and I'm like, there's still 2 more rounds of this if you want to win the finals. Yeah. It had already felt like they had just been through a war. And I was like, this isn't even close to over. Yeah. And then even when you would steal a game or go up 1-0 or whatever, it's like, man, that really doesn't matter if you collapse. Like it's simple, but you don't understand that feeling until you're in that. And you're like, man, this doesn't mean anything, or man, that is a long way to go. And so I just know that like what that felt like as it being a war, if it's the Magic, dude, I'm going to be like, cool, I'm glad we won round 2, but if we want to win a finals, we got to do this. Literally, we're only halfway there.
Yeah.
And chances are
we
you
won
play
one
a good
game
team.
in the first round, and that felt like a war.
Yeah, it literally. But it's like chances are round 2 is going to be a good team. Like that, you can't. It is hard to win a game in the NBA. It is so hard to win a series. And so I'm maybe being just protective of my heart when I say I don't know that I believe this team will make the finals this year, and that's fine too. I think people have to understand that too. It doesn't yes, it matters, but it does not matter. Like as long as we can get past the first round, and play our butts off in the regular season. What else are you going to ask? This is a young team still.
Yeah, and we kind of talked a little bit about that, but I'm in a similar boat. I think part of it is, well, first off, yeah, the playoffs are a freaking marathon, man. Like it's just brutal. Like even we joked about like the team is, if and when the day happens when the Magic go on a deep playoff run this year, next year, whenever, like the team's going to be going through it. Like us as Magic fans, like you run a marathon, you kind of work your way up to being able to run a marathon. Like if that happens this summer, like or this postseason, if the Magic goes straight on to like the Eastern Conference Finals or the Finals, like us Magic fans are going to be out of breath because we have not trained for this. We haven't done this in a long time, and so that's going to be interesting. But
extra month of basketball,
yeah, and intense basketball too.
And even let's say you go to the ECF, there's going to be Magic fans that if the Magic, let's say we're the 3 seed or the 4 seed, and we're playing a team that's better and they've got home court. Let's say we steal game 1. There will be Magic fans talking absolutely nonsense and insane and saying such crazy things because you won game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but you still have so far to go, and it could end up meaning nothing. I mean, as Magic fans, we know what it's like to win game 1 and it means nothing. And at the grand scheme of things, you still got beat 4-1, and it didn't matter. So yeah, man, and every win just feels so hard in the playoffs. That like it's hard not to feel that way when you're making progress. You're winning game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but anything can happen, and it's a long way to go. And you really have to pay, like you said, you have to pace yourself.
Yeah, I do think we have like reason to be optimistic. One, because like sure the KCP thing didn't really work out, but nobody thought he was anywhere close to like a top 30 player in the NBA. I think ESPN had him in like the 70, somewhere rankings last year, and they're like 100, which take those with a grain of salt. But like Desmond Bane, had he been playing in the East by now at some point, is most likely an all-star, the first, 5-6 years of his career, however long it's been. So if the Desmond Bane thing doesn't work out, we can just kind of chalk it up to we must be cursed if that's the way that all of this plays out. And then just as any team would, you have to have like a relatively good level of health, which the Magic did not have last year. Like Franz and Paolo went into that series without their, third and fourth best players in Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner, who now would most likely be the Magic's fourth and fifth best players on this roster with the addition of Desmond Bane. So all of a sudden, if it goes from Franz and Paolo, and then your, third best player in that series is maybe Wendell Carter Jr., and now your third best player is Desmond Bane, and then right behind him is Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner. Like it's just, we're talking about a team that is so much more talented and so much more capable. And so if the Magic are going to make a run, like it's going to be because the Bane thing worked out. Oh, and Jalen Suggs is healthy, and Mo Wagner came back and was able to regain form at some point during the season. So I just I don't see yes, I totally understand the concern with Knicks fans coming into Kia Center, but just on paper, looking at these teams, I really think we match up with just about anybody, especially in the Eastern Conference. And I just don't want to go in and be oh, I'm afraid to play this team. Bring it, bring it on. I'm totally fine with all of it. I cannot wait. I welcome it. If that's how it goes down, that's how it goes down. I'm fine. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm glad I just have to sit there and cheer. Because I don't those I don't know, man. Some of those teams come playoff time, I will be scared no matter what. And
that
series could legitimately be a friendship ender for you and for some of your homies.
Yeah,
so
I would have to block their numbers because I can't leave the chat. It's only 3 of us, so I don't get that option to leave it. But I will probably be hoping that I did have that option next year if it comes around.
Just have to mute notifications for a while.
Well, that's happened a long time ago.
I'm just scared. We've already talked about this, Jonathan, and I'm just terrified of what the next year and 4 years is going to look like. Because now the expectations are so high, within the organization.
It's make or break it time, baby.
Yeah, outside the organization, across the national landscape, it is make or break. It's put up or shut up. And again, like you said, it doesn't have to be this year. Yeah, but they do need to make a showing this year. Not saying they need to win it all this year, but we've talked about it.
Yes.
That like you have to get out of the first round, right? Are you in the same boat? Like at this point, you have to get out of the first round, or
if you don't
failure, right?
If you don't get out of the first round, there's changes that are made, and I don't know if that's front office, but I definitely think it's coaching. You don't get out of the first round, Mosley's definitely gone. Unless there's some weird injury stuff, then maybe he gets a pass. But yeah, no, you have to, and that's the thing too, is that you're no longer the sweet innocent team anymore. Like have you seen the Magic? Like they're whatever, like they're way outperforming expectation. You've got expectation now. What is it? The win total for the Magic already that's come out. What was it like?
52 and a half, 51 and a half, depending on the site, I think.
Yeah. So this is the year where you're no longer gonna get praised just for winning a game or in a regular season, right? Like you're not gonna get praised because you go into Madison Square Garden or Crypto and beat Luka and LeBron. Like you're not gonna really get praised for that unless you blow them out, because it's kind of like, you're supposed to be able to have a fighter's chance. And there is going to be a shift, and I'm interested to see when it happens, because Oklahoma City, they were once the young team that didn't have much expectation, and then all of a sudden they come on the radar, and then they win the NBA Finals, and it happens so fast. They win the finals, and everybody's like, yeah, well, you should have. It's going to be the case for if the Magic make it out of the first round this year. We're going to be celebrating and maybe emotional, definitely emotional, about winning the first round this upcoming season. And other opposing teams' fans are going to be like, why are you celebrating? You guys should have done that. It wasn't an upset. You at least had a fighter's chance. You were expected to do something in this series, at least take it 7, and you won. Congratulations. And I really think that's going to be the vibe if you win second round. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of people that are like, whoa, the Magic. I think that just like the reaction tolerance is going to continue to get higher and climb. And we're just going to have to stay in our own lane, get tunnel vision, focus only on the Magic. Don't worry about what everybody else is saying as fans, and ignore all the crap about you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Enjoy the wins, enjoy the playoff round wins, hopefully multiple, and go from there. I just don't think you start seeing praise until you do something in the ECF at this point, because the roster is that good. You should be doing stuff.
Yeah, I think where we all need to get, and I'm definitely guilty of this myself, of like, we always talk about, national media doesn't talk about us, blah, blah, blah. And then, when they do, if it's not exactly what we think they should say, we still get, we still feel kind of like a certain type of way. We need to get to the point where we all cover, we cover this team. We all know this team. We're the only opinions that we should really care about. The people that are watching every single game and are really invested into this team, because I tweeted this a couple of weeks ago. Because of the down year that we had with injuries, we didn't get that arc of like, oh, look at this young, fun team, and then all of a sudden, like, gradually starting to be hated. We went from like, oh, look at this young, fun team. Oh, look, the Magic are 3rd seed in the East. All the injuries hit. Basically, everybody forgets about us, and now we come back, and now it's like people are, crapping on Paolo Banchero, and we have multiple fan bases that now have, quote unquote rivalries, with our fan base, whether it be on social media or elsewhere. And then, when you win a title, I'm seeing, at least, I don't know about you guys in your timelines, but I'm seeing like Thunder fans constantly trying to like revalidate the fact that they just won a title, and like arguing, like, why are you arguing like Jalen Williams and Paolo Banchero? You just won a title. I can promise you, if and when the Magic win a title, I'm not going to be spending my summer arguing about whether or not Franz Wagner is better than Scotty Barnes. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to be celebrating my title, and nobody is going to be able to say a thing to me, and nobody's going to be able to take that away from us. So that's the mindset that Magic fans have to have. Like, internally, we can set what the standard looks like for success for this team. Like, if we don't win a first round playoff series, heads are going to absolutely roll. And if we sweep whoever in the first round and we want to be excited about that, guess what? We've been through hell since Dwight left, and we have every right to celebrate that regardless of who it is. Yep. You win your first playoff series in 13, 14 years, I don't care if it's the freaking Ridgewood Rams where I went to high school. Like, I'm going to celebrate that playoff series. So I think that's kind of where we all need to get to. And myself included, is just like, turn off the noise. Like Jamal Mosley talks about pressure being a privilege. And that's where I am now. And that's why I don't really care who we play. Like, I'm going to, hope that the best is going to happen. And if my little, blue and white heart gets crushed, then so be it. But like, I'm all in on this ride because we've been waiting for a team like this. And now we have it. We didn't know if and when we would see another one like it. So I'm all in. Like, give me anybody. I don't care.
Luke, before we let you go, as we've talked about, we're turning this new corner into this new era. I mean, we've been in the era, but with the new look and the Desmond Bain, all this stuff, it feels like we said, this is the make or break era. Do you have any parting words for Magic fans out there as we go into this new era? We're a couple months away from the season starting. Any words of advice, words of encouragement, words of warning for fellow Magic fans out there?
It's a long season. There's going to be times when you think that this was the best summer the Magic have ever had because we are blowing dudes out. Whoa. We are.
If you didn't stop the sentence right there, I promise you it would have been fine.
Yeah. Well, sometimes
blowing dudes out, like, that would have been just fine. You did not have to stop in the middle of that sentence.
Sometimes you have to
blowing
commit to
teams out. How about that?
I was committed to the bit. All right. And that's so, yes, there will be nights, man,
where the Magic's
you're going to win games. All right.
Is large.
You're going to win games and it's going to be convincing and it's going to be incredible. And you're going to be through the moon about what this team is doing. And oh my goodness, Weltman, you're ready to king him and Jamal Mosley. And then there will be stretches where you lose 4 in a row, maybe. And then you're going to want a knee-jerk reaction and you're going to say, the season's over. I hate my life. I cannot believe that I thought this team was going to be good. All I'm saying is that as best as you can, keep a level head. Let's get to the end of the season or to where the playoff picture is shaping up. And then let's draw our conclusions about what this season is. Because there's a long 82 games. And then we have to recondition ourselves for the NBA playoffs. Like we've already said, it's a long, long time. There's a lot of teams you got to face. There's a lot of games you have to play. They're not all going to be pretty. But when you get to the playoffs, if the Magic win, I'm not even gonna harp on how we won, what we did. A win is a win in the playoffs. Keep it going. And I think that it'll be a fun ride. So I'm hopeful. I am cautiously optimistic. I'm really just worried about health. I think you stay healthy. There is no reason you can't be a top 3 team in the East. And that might even not be good enough for what I really want to say. The Orlando Magic could be the number 1 team in the East. They could. There's a world where it happens. There's a world where we've experienced bad injury luck. We've experienced great injury luck. I think back to the season Steve Clifford is there, where we make it and we're the 7th seed, right? Virtually the same roster as the year prior, but you were healthy, and that was the difference. So we've experienced both ends of the spectrum with injuries. As long as you stay healthy, there is not a reason you cannot be the number 1 team in the East, because other teams are going to struggle with health. They already are, with guys like Tyrese out, Jason Tatum out. So yeah, it'll be a fun season. I'm excited. Opening night is going to be incredible. And thanks to Kevin's love for it, I now have a love for schedule release.
Let's go.
Yeah, schedule release.
3 weeks.
Those times.
3 weeks.
Okay. Yep.
Ish.
I was about to say we should be roughly 3 to 4 weeks away. So that'll be a blast to do that, to go through that. I think last year when you guys did it, you guys had like the Excel spreadsheet that you guys were using, I think maybe to track. And I was like, hey, I need you guys to slide that to me so that I can also go through this. And I will likely do the same thing again this year. But it's just a fun time, especially with the team as good as they are, and we get to really get nerdy and crunch back-to-backs and 3 and 4 nights and rest advantage and all of that fun stuff and what scheduled losses or even schedule wins. that the Magic will have this upcoming season. I think there's going to be a lot of wins. I don't know what I'm going to predict for our win-loss, hitting that win total. If I was going to say over or under, I have no idea yet. But we'll see after the schedule comes out where I'm at after I process through all of that. So it'll be a fun one, and I'm excited for this upcoming season.
Well, in the words of the great Shane Falco, pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever. Our friend, our brother, Luke Sylvia, appreciate you stopping by. Always good to see you, man. Thanks for taking the time hanging out with us here.
Yeah, thanks,
but
guys.
Folks, that is going to do it for this one. For Luke Sylvia, for Kevin Tucker, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You all have been listening to The Sixth Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!